Hi guys, welcome to the Age of Decadence. This game is a heavily based RPG game with lots of reading involved, so if you don't like the sound of my voice while reading, I would just go ahead and take a pass on this game. I feel like this game isn't as popular as it should be, but there's some key differences in this game compared to other RPG elements, and yes, this game is an RPG, and I can't remember if I said that. In normal RPGs, you would be able to, or well, like in Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout, stuff like that, you'll be able to kill as many people as you so desire, and you'll probably not even lose any health once you get good enough in the game. You'll take a beating, of course, at the front, but later on, you'll just be an unstoppable killing machine. And in this game, that is the complete opposite. You don't want to go into combat. You want to try to avoid combat because you will die, and the game is utterly remorseful about that. And so, if you want to check this game out, I'll leave a description below of it on Steam. I don't know if it is on consoles, and it shouldn't be on consoles, since this is like a turn-based game with a little RPG strategy in it. So, nonetheless, a little more about this game. You don't want to enter combat. Always remember that. So if I'm not providing you enough action, I once again advise that you just go ahead and skip the series. The couple other playthroughs I'm playing, Space Hulk, or not Space Hulk, Battlefleet Gothic, Black Ops 3, and maybe Battlefield 4 are going to stop for the time being. I just don't have enough time to record those, and I want to venture out in more series. So if you like RPGs, but you don't necessarily like action, if that makes sense, then I would just go ahead and skip this video for right now. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, adventurer. You're about to die, and we salute you. The Age of Decadence is a very difficult game from what you're used to. It's a world harsh and unforgiving, and it doesn't really take much to end up dead. In fact, it's painfully easy, especially if you try to play the game the way you would normally play RPGs. When you roleplay a mighty hero who's able to handle any challenge and smite evildoers by the dozens. In this game, combat is always extremely dangerous. It's the hardest way to handle quests and progress through the game, and even a couple thugs could easily put an end to your adventure. Keep in mind that you are not expected to beat every fight you're offered. There is no shame in walking away if your character isn't a killing machine. Optional fights are usually the hardest, so don't jump in at the first opportunity to be brutally murdered. The game isn't linear and not about killing people. Be aware that many people will not hesitate to lie to you, steal from you, or betray you should they see fit. Use your head, be careful what you say, and always look out for yourself because no one else will. So I turned the game music down a little bit. I don't know if there's any copyright strikes, so I apologize. When you buy this game, and if you buy this game actually on Steam, you'll be able to play the music all as much as you want. But if this is not your kind of RPG, I would just stay away from it. There's no point in buying a game that doesn't bring fun to you. So let's go ahead and get started. I have played this game in the past. I love this game until I kept on dying. And there's no shame in dying, like the game said. If this is your first time playing the game, you might want to try the combat tutorial first to familiarize yourself with the different attack types and /skills effect on combat. Bear in mind that this combat is very challenging, especially the optional fights you can always walk away from. You can name your character, choose a gender, choose a background. Backgrounds aren't classes. They don't restrict or guide a character's future attributes or skill. Your chosen background determines how your game starts, your place in the world, as well as starting values for your reputation with various factions. Finally, you can customize your character appearance. If you select another balanced background, the appearance options will be reset. Once you're happy with the choices, click next to proceed to the next screen and calculate your character skills and skill points. If you change your mind, you can always go back to the screen and pick another background. So each skill background has different things, like the game said. It doesn't determine what kind of background you have. You can name your character over here. You can decide, make what the character looks like for our benefits. And so the game started off with Drifter. They value freedom and answering no one. They prefer to move freely without the weight of any shackles. Never stand in place for too long. I like the mercenary. I guess we could go with the Praetor. I have actually lived longer with the mercenary. And in this game you'll see us die a lot more than you would in a normal game, and I'm pretty bad at staying alive, basically. So we can get a couple tattoos, we can get a couple scars. I'm just going to stick the same. We can change our hairstyle and do all sorts of other things. We'll have a mohawk for now. We can have a beard. I'm not a one for a fancy beard, but it just looks quite normal. We can change the color of our hair and our beard separately, which is kind of cool. The game, as you can see in the background, is very heavily set, even with the name, and probably the Roman times, with the Greeks, probably after a little bit of the Greeks themselves. And so let's go ahead and name our character. We're going to name him Dancing, if I can spell that right, Dancing Man. So there we go. We had our background, we're a mercenary, we kind of look like a thug. Because our character looks like that, I'll give him a couple of tattoos, or ink marks if you will. Make him have that mercenary appearance. So there we go. Now we have to accolade our skills, which is pretty nice. All backgrounds except Drifter have default stats. They're merely suggestions for the selected backgrounds to give you an idea of what works. If you have a better idea, feel free to change the stats as you see fit. There are 6 primary stats. I already know a little bit about the game. I'm not the best in the game, but I just want to show this game off a little bit. So obviously, if you played RPGs before, you know what these stats do, so there's no really point of talking about it. If you don't actually play a lot of video games and you somehow came across this video, strength is what strength implies. Dexterity is like how fast you move or how many action points you have. Constitution is hit points. Perception is accuracy bonus. SP stands for I think civilian skills. Civvy skills. Not exactly sure. Charisma is how well you talk. So in the mercenary, I'm going to be a lot more leaning to combat. The name involves. And I'm going to level up our sword, our dodge, and a black. You can have novices, journeymen. Novices, I think it goes novice, journeyman, master, but I could be wrong. Novice, journeyman, proficient. But we're going to get our dodge and our block up a little bit. Critical strike doesn't really matter until later on in the game. Excuse me, and as you quote unquote level up, you can have different stats going into different things. But I mostly like the sword. The sword out of everything, even the hammer. I'm more of a mace guy, but the sword is what I like the most in this game. So we have 42 attack, 35 defense. We're not really balanced. So if you get blocked, we have a little higher defense than for attack, which is totally normal in this game. And our civvy skills, we can do etiquette, persuasion. Let's go persuasion, sweet rise, and etiquette. And we have one more, and we have 15 more skill points. Every time you level up into one of these skill points, your combat skills and your civvy skill points go down, obviously. So I think for the next, we can upgrade our sword a little bit more, or we can get dodge or block in there. Might as well go with block, and we have one more. Let's go critical strike again. And for our civvy skill points, impersonate sounds pretty good. So this is what our character is: higher dexterity, strength, hit points, and lower civvy skills. That's what happens when you turn into a mercenary. You don't really have to reflect on what kind of background you choose. It's totally optional, like the game said, but it helps. The backgrounds are kind of set in stone, and each background has a different kind of tutorial that you could still die from. So just be warned. I've noticed that quite a lot. So when this loads, I think it will be called an episode for today. So if this suits your style, please continue watching. If it doesn't suit your style, there's other episodes and videos on my page. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. Please leave a like or a comment to see to let me see what you guys want to see and what you guys don't want to see. Thanks, guys.